Welcome to the Super Boob Tube Dudes podcast. I'm your host, Dante Serecchia, along with my trusty Canadian brother from another mother, Tyler Hoskins.
Hello, hello.
And we are here to talk to you about comic book and superhero television shows. So, how's your week been?
My week's been pretty good. I'm currently in the middle of a 12-day work
Oh,
marathon.
Jesus, really? I didn't know that. That sucks.
So I had to work all last week and all weekend, and I've now got 4 more days left, and I'm exhausted.
Geez, so no time to work on the house, or is that all pretty much done?
No time to do anything except for sleep and work.
That's not good.
And sometimes eat. But you know what? It's all good. Keeps me out of trouble,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, I hear that. I know. I was working sometimes 6 days a week here just to get some extra cash, and it just burns you out.
Yeah, extra cash is nice, but it's
no
time to spend that extra cash.
Yeah,
which is sometimes it's nice, but
yeah, it's sometimes I'm trying to make some extra cash here on eBay. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff on eBay in the comic variety. If anyone, and some Star Wars toys, if anybody's interested, you can check out my my eBay page.
Nice.
It's just you could just search my first name, Dante Art 1986, DANTEART 1986, and then all my stuff will pop up there, and you can check out. I have like really good feedback, and I always ship everything pretty good. So nice. I mean, I guess that's a pretty good shout out for that stuff if you guys are interested. Unplanned shout outs. So we have some a couple of shows, some doubles, because we had a long one last time. That was a big 3-week TV show bundle,
and then we had this week. It was a slow week last week, so
yeah, so kind of like a 1.5, I guess you could say, with some of these shows.
Yep.
We had Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Gotham, Lucifer, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Supergirl, and then we're going to talk about 4 episodes of Netflix's Daredevil.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. I really wish I had time to rewatch it. I was trying to, and I got through the first episode, and I was falling asleep, and I just didn't have time to get through anymore. So, we'll go through that a little slowly here, and I'll kind of watch it on mute, and fast forward a bit just to kind of get some story elements we could talk about.
Refresher.
So why don't we get into to Arrow here? So it was only. Well, that and Lucifer and Supergirl were the single episodes. Let's do the single episodes first.
That sounds good. I mean, Arrow was like it was a good episode this time around, and I was the massive spoiler for this one is how it ends. Right.
It was kind of unexpected. They kind of had it there, and you're like, oh crap, does it happen? And then
it doesn't happen.
And you're like, oh crap, it does.
So for those of you listening, hopefully you've seen this. Our good friend, the Black Canary, has died.
She has passed.
Laurel is gone. Now before she dies, she actually has a conversation with Oliver that we don't
like a big
hear.
Secret. Yeah.
So that's interesting to see what happens there. And before all that, Dark is getting broken out of prison by Merlin,
right?
Which I found interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see why he's changing sides again. I think maybe just to get the power to maybe to become Ra's al Ghul again.
Maybe.
And that's the only really thing I could think of. I mean, unless he's kind of content with not being Ra's al Ghul, but but even before that, we have this Arrow just does not trust Diggle's brother.
No, not at all.
And rightfully so, it turns out. I was
Yep.
so shocked. I was like, is Arrow going to be wrong? He's going to be wrong, and Diggle's going to hate him even more than he did before that
Yeah.
last time. But what is Diggle's brother's name again? I was
Dude's
trying to
brother's
go
name.
through, but I couldn't find it.
I'm gonna track it down here quick. Andy.
Okay, oh, right. Okay, so man, Diggle is like kind of on his side and giving them the benefit of the doubt, and thinks that he wants to turn around, and it's just he's just using his bro. He's just using Diggle
Yeah.
to kind of get closer to the team, and it works way too easily for him. And they have the whole team. They have that magical stone that Dark was getting his power from,
Yep.
and then it gets stolen.
Yeah.
And that was a good fight. Merlin takes it, right?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, Merlin fights everybody in their bunker, and he takes it.
Yeah, he takes the
And
idol, and then there's something missing from the idol, which they eventually do track down.
Yeah, there's like a little tiny piece that that Andy is kind of like really hinting at that he's trying to find. Once they know that it's missing, he's getting all this information, and it's just so he can get that idol back to Dark. And it's so sad because you're like, dude, I liked Andy, and I mean, I knew that he was bad, but I really thought he could turn around. But oh man, when he flipped on the team, it was just like, oh, you asshole.
Yeah, he played them real good.
Oh yeah, they made his character so much more worthwhile, making him a bad guy and tricking everyone. It just makes his character that much better.
Yeah,
even though
sure.
he's a dick and it's a bad move, but it's also a good move for the story. And it's just like,
yeah, it makes the show a little bit more interesting now that everybody's not friends.
Right. And I mean, and then also now what Diggle has to, kiss Ollie's ass now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm sorry, man. He's still like, we got tricked. And he's like, I told you. But Arrow's not the one to be like, I told you so.
Right.
Which is kind of cool. But we also got the Laurel storyline, her and her dad, and she's got this position to become
the DA.
Was it assistant DA or is it DA?
It's the DA. Yeah.
Oh, right, because that DA died, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
The new mayor, who is Dark's wife, but nobody knows this except the Arrow team. And she wants Laurel to be the DA. Yeah.
Yeah. And
she was thinking about taking it.
How would that have gone, though? I mean, you think, because they know that that's Dark's wife.
Yes.
So, and she knows who Laurel is, doesn't she? Or she doesn't know?
You know what?
Oh, she doesn't know their secret identities, does she?
I don't know if she knows.
I don't think she does.
But Dark knows.
Right.
Like, I don't know if
Dark's
that information... I don't know if that information has been passed to his wife. I would assume so, but I don't know for sure.
You know, that's a good thing. I think maybe he's keeping some stuff to the close to the chest, because it really doesn't seem like she knows whenever she's whenever she's with like Ollie and them. I mean, I'm not really sure. Sometimes it does, because there was one scene, I think last episode, where she had a scene with Ollie and they were kind of exchanging some words, and it really seemed like she knew. Yeah. But then there were some other times where she doesn't. Maybe she only knows that Ollie's Arrow and nothing else about the team.
Maybe.
That's I mean, that would have been kind of a cool dynamic, because you'd have a team member on the inside, and you'd have a team member on the inside in such a high position of power politically in the city.
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see how that would kind of mix together, especially with Dark's wife and her evil side, and then the light side of Black Canary.
Yep.
But and then we get the scene here where they're trying to stop this prison break, or what is it? They're trying to get into some kind of lair, and Andy gets shot with an arrow to try to trick him.
Yeah, and I mean, it was weird, but
yeah,
everything happened, and I think it was a strange lead up to the death.
I think so too. I mean, but I really like the idea that most of the story wasn't really about her till toward the end. I mean, we had her her alias story, being trying to become a DA and have a a higher position of
Yeah.
power in the city. But then, I mean, with the team, they're trying to stop this breakout, um, and then Andy gets shot, and Ollie just does not trust him. He still thinks he's he's swerving the team a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the whole story was mostly about this idol. So until the end, where we get that, the prison break, and they're trying to stop it, and Dark gets his powers back, and he just takes her out bad, kind of freezes everybody and stabs her in the damn heart or in the chest with an arrow. Ollie's arrow, for one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes into surgery, and her dad finds out, and he's in custody because he punched a of a superior officer, I guess, on that like SWAT sort of team.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's just bad. Everyone's like, "Oh, she's gonna get better. She just had surgery."
Right.
And
now,
yeah,
this is where the
she
speculation comes into play.
Right.
Because right after they have that conversation, Ollie and Laurel, she has a seizure and dies.
Right,
basically.
yeah, she's like seizing out and then her heart's stopping, and they can't bring her back. They can't resuscitate her.
Now, this is
after,
like right after they have the conversation.
Right, yeah,
So,
and it's all behind closed doors, so we don't know what
exactly. We don't know
she said, but is she really dead?
Yeah, this is where everything's gonna get thrown up in the air. Is she actually dead? Did we fake her death?
Right. Did Ollie do something to her to fake her death?
Yeah.
Or did they both plan this together if something bad happened? But I mean, he really takes it like it happened. I mean, in the hall by himself, there's no like secret face.
Right.
Like, he's really keeping up, appearances if this is really fake. But and then it really hits hard for Captain Lance, and he's just great acting. He's such a great actor on this show.
Yeah, he was devastated.
Oh god, he's really good on this show. He's probably one of the best actors on the show. Him and then John Barrowman as Merlin. Yeah, they're just so good.
You gotta love John.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the episode. We don't know what is going on. Is she coming back? We know for one that she's coming back as I can't remember what they're going to call her.
I believe.
Black who?
Siren?
Oh, yes, correct. Yeah, it's Black Siren in, I think, the future or a different world.
Yeah, I believe it's Legends of Tomorrow that we'll see her.
But I don't think I think it's a different Earth, though.
Yes, it is a different Earth for sure.
So that's interesting already, because we haven't seen a different Earth on Legends of Tomorrow. We've only seen,
I think it's
different times.
I'm going to check, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it was different Earth. I heard it was like an Earth 2 Laurel.
Yeah, it's definitely Earth 2.
But that's the thing. How is that playing out? Where is a second Earth coming into play? Is there a Flash or a Zoom or somebody going to be in Legends soon? Or is it in the crossover event? Or is it a crossover event somehow with the finale of Flash?
It is the Flash. Never mind.
Oh, it's the Flash?
Yeah, it is. She is in the Flash.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, no Flash this week.
Yeah.
Or last week, right?
No Flash last week. There's Flash this week. Flash is back.
Oh, right.
Week.
Last week. This week coming up. This is Monday today, so the 18th.
New Flash
so
tomorrow.
We'll have. It's going to be so good.
Versus Flash or versus Zoom.
The creepy Zoom voice with without the mask on is even creepier.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So that's Arrow. Let's go over to the Legends of Tomorrow. So we had 2 episodes here. We're going to do the single episodes, right? Let's do Supergirl.
Let's just do Legends. Let's just keep going.
Oh, okay.
Let's just do it.
We'll just go down the list alphabetically. They're in the future.
They are in the future.
It's back in the future here,
where they're trying to stop the guy's savage mentors to become the tyrant. To overtake the world, basically. They try to Rip's plan is to kill the 14-year-old boy.
Right, like it's, would you kill Hitler
Yeah,
if, you
exactly.
were back in time and he was a baby kind of thing. And that's kind of their plan.
And I
So,
mean, that's pretty much the episode.
yeah, there's really not much else to go on it except, we got some cool future stuff with the Ray Palmer's robots and his
Yeah.
technology, and everyone, and then there, he suspects that he is his great grandfather to this one girl who is an ancestor of his,
Who
or not an
happens to
ancestor,
be.
a future. What would they
Yeah.
call that? What would they call that
Well,
revert
that's
ancestors
an
behind?
ancestor. Well,
Would it still
no.
be ancestor? If he would be an
He
ancestor
would
to
be
the
their
person.
ancestor, yeah.
Right. So he kind of figures like, well, I must
Descendant.
be with somebody. Yeah, his descendant. So it was like he must be somebody, or be with somebody.
Yeah.
And we end up finding out that it was his brother
Yeah.
that ended up kind of manipulating his technology after his disappearance, because obviously they're gone from time, and they haven't returned back to whence they came. So they're trying to get close to this kid, and Vandal is basically mentoring, and away from his this child's father, because apparently he's not doing the job that Vandal really wants him to do on that council that they're kind of hearing.
Yeah.
And then Vandal kind of just takes the helm and destroys everyone and becomes like the leader, or destroys that kid's dad and becomes a leader of this council
Yeah, exactly.
to use this technology and move the future forward.
Basically, all they did was speed up time.
Right.
They just sped up the timeline. That's all they did.
Yeah, because now, the kid he still didn't take the kind words of Rip Hunter after he decides not to kill the kid, and he has this conscience.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be a killer and this and that. But basically, he tries to give him some words of wisdom and not be evil and not let Vandal take his mind into a dark direction, but just still doesn't work. So the future is still not where it's supposed to be. And we get some flashback stuff in this episode with Carter and Kendra back, I think, when they're in like the 40s.
Yeah.
Or is it? It's like
it's like when they had their kid.
Right, when they had their kid. And that was is that the same kid?
The same kid that becomes the professor, yeah.
Right, that's what I thought. Yeah. So the professor who is a little kid in the flashback, I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of like how they went back through there. Except for like the kid is not very, black at all.
Yeah.
It was just like, wait, what happens? It was very different. Anyway, it was just like the ethnicity didn't, not that it matters, but I mean, it just didn't match up for me. That's why I was questioning the timeline shift. But then he kind of, Kendra kind of splits up a bit with Ray Palmer because of this Destiny stuff and Carter being back, or not being back, but the possibility of him being back and their destiny and all this. And especially after they spent 2 years together, kind of pretending to be husband and wife the last time they were, off the ship. It's crazy. What do you think about that? I mean, it's just like Ray Palmer's just getting the shaft in a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He has his hopes too high.
He's got his hopes maybe a little too high, but I mean, it's very strange. The whole thing's a little strange.
So they're like all this time, and then we have that kiss between them.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of it just seems like a goodbye sort of kiss, like we're gonna end this relationship because she's not secure with all this stuff, and she's all like Destiny and the future and Carter, and he'll come back or we'll find him kind of thing. And meanwhile, like they're all trying to get this dagger from Vandal, but Vandal keeps it, and he keeps it safe and ends up giving it to that kid. And it's just he becomes the head of this council, and then we have Snart lets Rory out, and they fight, and he's like, if you're gonna kill me, and they beat the hell out of each other. And
yeah, it's a pretty brutal fight. And then
and Rory holds back, and he's like, you know what? I'm just me. I'm my own guy. I'm not following the Time Masters or you. But I love his character now, especially with the next episode. He's elevated in intelligence and strength and like
Well, he's
who
had a
he
few
is.
years to.
It's just great. And then at the end they send out those mercenaries, those time mercenary guys.
Yep, the hunters.
The hunters, and they go through time to try and get them, and they're on their tail basically, and they're not going to stop till they kill everybody.
So
and they just show up in the next episode.
So I was going to say, let's just quickly move into the next episode. Right at before we get into the actual plot of this, the hunters right at the end, they show up in this little Wild West town of Salvation.
Right.
And they seem to die relatively easily.
Well, I don't think they. Maybe they do, but I don't think. I mean, not that they do. Die easily. I'm just saying maybe they don't understand the power that these characters have, or they underestimate it. But they should know. They're part of like a timeline where they would know, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed really, really easy. Like, I understand there's 6 of them and there's 3 of those guys or whatever.
Yeah,
like, there's a
I mean, and then they do have, then there's Jonah Hex helping them a bit.
Yeah.
But he's just a regular dude.
But
then the one part where where Ray Palmer flies through a guy, like he just spears right through him.
Yeah, it was.
You notice
wild.
that? He goes through his back into it, right through his stomach from his back, and just like flies right through his body, killing him.
And that's the other thing too. Like they killed them.
Yeah, they're like, are they murderers now, or I mean? Because then you have Rory killing one guy as well, and that's where he goes, we're not going to stop, and time is inevitable kind of thing. You're running out of time, but basically they have to go to the Old West.
Well, they go to the Old West because it's one of these time bubble things or whatever.
They can hide out, right?
That they can actually hide in this piece of time because nobody ever checks this part of time or something stupid. Okay, sure, whatever, but they obviously seem to find them relatively quickly,
right? Well, yeah, I mean, even toward the end, so like they get into the 1800s and this time here, and they meet Jonah Hex, and you find out that Jonah has been visited by Rip Hunter before.
Yeah, and that's why he didn't want to leave the ship. I mean,
right.
For me,
and everyone kind of leaves and kind of wreaks havoc.
Yeah, for me, this episode was kind of I don't know. It was strange.
I
felt it was. Don't get me wrong. It was a good episode, but it just felt so out of place, I guess. I don't know.
I think it really worked well for Kendra and her story. I think we got to see that we have Rory back on the team, like for good.
Yeah,
the team is back together. The team that we want is back together. That's what I like to see.
Yeah,
and like even with Jonah Hex coming in,
it was nice to
giving his piece.
It was a great intro for Jonah Hex, for sure.
Very. I don't know if they can make a show around him. Maybe I don't know if that was their plan.
I don't know if that if necessarily that's going to be if it's going to be Jonah Hex as his own show or whether he's going to be on the next team.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to be in next season's team.
Right, if there's like a different roster shift or something.
Exactly. So
actually he might, especially with Laurel being gone.
Yep.
I think they might get, White Canary back as Black Canary. That might happen. You know what I mean?
You never know.
Might need a Black Canary on that other team, and she might be that person. So
yeah,
things might be changing. I'm assuming we're gonna still have obviously Rip, the Professor, and Jackson and Ray Palmer. But are we gonna have a shift in Snart and Rory?
Yeah, I don't know if Rory's gonna keep it going, but
there's a lot of things that could happen. Is Kendra gonna be on the team still?
Yeah, that's gonna be. It's all gonna be very interesting to see how the next few episodes pan out. So,
speaking of Kendra, I love the idea that she met a past older self of hers. I thought that was great. It was just it lended to the whole time travel and destiny thing and
Yeah.
them talking to each other. I just thought like it worked so well for this episode. And I mean, they played it off pretty easily because obviously they know. I mean, they both aren't really terribly shocked because they know what their lives are. So it flowed right through into like, I know I know you because you are me and I'm you. And then she kind of tries to talk to her about destiny and this is how it is. And she's like, no, I'm from the future. And I'm kind of saying that I want to believe that there is something that can be changed. I just thought
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool, and it's like, is this how she actually will end up eventually? Because she's obviously an older version of her.
Well, yeah, but that was in the past.
Right, but there's this whole time traveling thing. Maybe at one point Rip
You
goes,
think maybe she will get stuck in the past and grow old there for her
yeah,
future?
exactly.
Man, that could be, or maybe
Rip,
this
like,
is just the past version of her in the old west. We don't know,
who knows?
but it's a good thought. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd like to see it pan out that way for her because that's just kind of shitty. But you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear you.
But it was a cool idea to get them both together and kind of bounce off some words with each other.
Yeah,
And then we get the whole thing that Rip Hunter named his son after Jonah, and then also we get some of the professor and the little kid that he has to save, and he tells
chooses
his
to
mother
save,
to
at
burn
least.
the H.G. Wells nod.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And I mean, H.G. Wells, he beats tuberculosis anyway, right? I mean, in the
Yeah.
past, or is this why he beat
Ew, exactly.
tuberculosis?
Is this how it happens?
Right. So,
Because we all know he doesn't die. So
right. So I thought that was pretty cool. And a little fun Back to the Future kind of stuff they did, with the whole John Wayne thing with Ray Palmer, and I did like that. I'm a big sucker for like the Old West and obviously the time travel stuff. So it just fits really well for me. I like to see this, and I like Jonah Hex. He's an old classic character that I like to see a lot, even though the movie was bad. But I like his character as that cowboy sort of maverick type character, and it was fun. So they try and take out these bad guys who are trying to take over this town, and they run them out first, but they know they're coming back, so they they set a posse out to preemptively strike them at their hideout, and stuff doesn't go right. Then they get attacked again, and it's just. And then that's when the hunters come in and they end up slaughtering them. It's just like, our good guys are murderers now. So, Jonah Hex is a good introduction. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. There's the official breakup between Kendra and Ray Palmer. You there, Tyler?
sorry, I had to.
Oh,
My mic was on mute. Sorry.
oh, all right. Yeah, we got that breakup like pretty hardcore with Kendra and Ray Palmer,
Yeah.
and the team's back together. And then what happened here at the end? At the very end?
At the very end, we find out who's going to come after them next.
Oh, that's right, that lady.
Yeah, she is called the Pilgrim, who
That is
she
gonna be
goes
great.
after their younger selves.
Yeah, that's right. And Rory knows about this chick, and she is coming back to try and kill their younger selves so they can never become the legends
Which
that they are trying to be, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
and it makes total sense. Like, why wouldn't you do this?
Right. I mean, it was kind of previewed like it could happen in the last episode, going after the younger self of this kid who grows up to be this, future destroyer.
Exactly.
Great episode. I really loved it. I watched it today. It was a lot of fun. Okay, going into Gotham. This is basically the breakout of Commissioner Gordon. Starts off with a bunch of the Penguin stuff. He met his dad. He's been staying with them. They're getting close and mushy mushy, and he's about to leave him. Penguin's dad. Is he really his dad? We don't know. They think so. What do you think
I think
about the dad?
whether he is or not, I think is kind of a moot point at this point in time.
Right.
Realistically, like he dies.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, so right now we have Jim Gordon in prison, and what is he there? 2-3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
He's supposed to serve some kind of 17-year sentence till death or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It doesn't. So like
he's in and out so fast, it seems, but he's in there a while, and he's doing the laundry. He's trying to stay fit, and he's trying not to get killed by these other guys. And basically, he's in there, and a bunch of cops and other guys kind of warn him that the warden's a dick, and he's going to let some of these other guys kind of do what they want to him because they just really don't like Gordon. But I mean, Gordon is a murderer. I mean, he's there for a reason. He kind of should be there. That's kind of what I don't like about the show, because I guess it's a good thing too, because it does make you think, should he be released? I mean, yes, because he's Commissioner Gordon and you want him to be that future Commissioner Gordon for like Batman and stuff like that. But then also you're like, but he murdered that dude. Even though we know he's coming back, but he murdered that dude. He's not back yet,
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's strange because we don't. This is kind of an untold story, right?
Right. Yeah,
so
definitely.
There had to be something that made the commissioner, right? Like there has to be some bad side to him. Like he was a cop in Gotham. Something's got to give. Right. So I mean, like I get it. Like I'm not opposed to how the show is going. It's
no. Me neither. I'm just saying, like it's just a very different idea to
absolutely.
Put
like
on
it's not the
Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon that we know, but obviously he's not Commissioner Gordon at this point. He's just a lieutenant or a detective or whatever, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So he's got to move up the ranks a little bit to even become commissioner. So
I think some things need to happen down the way, good, bad, and changing him and his character. So he's kind of have to be content with how Gotham is, and I don't think he's there yet. I mean, he's trying to fix it, but I think he's not in that grizzled, obviously, sort of seasoned state that he is when we know him as. So
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that works, but.
Right, and we see Bullock struggling with this too, because he knows he didn't do it, or he believes he didn't. And I mean, basically, this is all Nigma's fault. Nigma got him sent to prison. He set him up.
Yep.
Made him look like that he killed that guy, and made the captain come in, or the chief. Right, it was the chief or the captain.
The captain.
Captain made the captain come in and made him think that he killed this other cop, and it was just bad news. So. Bullock's kind of not taking it very well. And in the meantime, we have this relationship kind of brewing with the wife, with Penguin and his dad, and then the family that is not his family, but that he's kind of joined. And it's just, they hate the Penguin so much, except the dad loves him, but the rest of the family, the wife and the brother and sister, they hate the fact that Penguin's dad loves him so much, and they hate Penguin for it, and they're just like, you know what, we're gonna make it look like that he killed his father, and we'll get some kind of inheritance. Instead of, because the wife knows that the father is going to give all of his stuff to the Penguin, and she's not having it.
No. So before he changes his will and all that jazz.
Yeah, before he gets a chance to, the wife ends up poisoning him, and it kind of makes it look like that he did it, pouring the liquor, and it just makes it worse. Like they've been poisoning him. or they haven't been poisoning him. He's been actually sick, right?
Yeah, no, he's sick. They just haven't been giving
Yeah,
him the right pills.
right.
That's
And
what it
then
is.
yeah,
And
she's been
then
changing it to mints or whatever.
yeah, and eventually they just decide, yeah, fuck it, let's just poison him.
Right, it's taking too long. He's going to change the will, and it's just going to take too long. Then we get Commissioner Gordon finally breaking out with the help of that one guard and Bullock, and they're like working behind the scenes to try and get him out.
Yeah, and Falcone helped.
Oh, that's true. That's right. He didn't find out to the very end that Falcone helped him, and then yeah, the Penguin's dad gets poisoned and dies, and it was really sad. It was I really loved that relationship that was going on. It was a great Penguin story.
Yeah.
It seems like two shows on this show sometimes. I mean, the whole Penguin side and the Gordon side.
Yeah,
It just seems so different, and I really like it.
nice A and B story for sure.
Right. I really like this episode, although it did seem like Jim Gordon was in and out of prison very, very fast. But
Yeah.
it's kind of
Okay.
how it had to be with, I mean, Bullock's like, I can't have you in prison, dude. You got to be out.
Did you see the next episode?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
Okay.
he's out on the run, basically.
Yeah,
and,
out on the run.
and has to lie to the captain that he has no idea where he is and that if he did it or not, this and that.
Yeah, and I like
And-
the Penguin story in this
Was-
episode was fucking awesome.
Amazing, yeah. This show and Legends were on my like best shows of the week. Like Gotham was amazing this week.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna say it was better than Supergirl this week too. In my opinion, this episode so good. So we get Commissioner Gordon kind of in his beanie running around, and we have the Penguin has the funeral for his father, and he's like, "I'll stay with the family, I'll do whatever." And they kind of make him their little bitch boy, which is so messed up. But he's so brainwashed from Strange
Yeah.
that he'll kind of do anything just to be a part of this family and everything.
Yeah, he's just happy to help, and
Yeah, he's just I'm gonna help, I'll clean, I'll cook, whatever, and they just make him their slave basically, and he's not gonna have it until he ends up, finding out that the liquor was poisoned.
and he feeds it to the dog, and you're like,
That was
my
really sad. Yeah,
God.
you're like, is he really gonna test it on the dog? No way.
Yeah,
That's when this episode got really dark there.
Real
But
dark.
then it
And
got
then
really dark toward the end.
and then he snapped.
Oh
he
yeah,
just,
then he's back to Penguin.
Yeah, Penguin is back with a vengeance.
And then also, which was a really good twist and very smart stuff, we get Commissioner Gordon tries to get help from Ed.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, this is great. It's so much tension because Ed did it and all this and that. And then the commissioner kind of suspects, he's like, wait, things and events happen because of this and because of you. And he's like, you're the one who did this to me. And then he shocks him in the chair. I was like, holy crap, he's so prepared.
yeah. It was so good. And then
It was the best. Some of the best twists and turns in this episode.
yeah, and then he's obviously taking him out to bury him, and Gordon gets away.
Right. Yeah, he ends up fighting him, and he gets out of there. And that's when we get the poison dog trick. And Bruce again is in talking with Alfred about how he's going to be and this and that.
Yeah, and this is Gordon shows up at Kat's place.
Right. Oh yeah, they try and he kind of stumbles in there all messed up.
Because he's been shot.
Yeah, who shot him again? The cop?
No, Ed shot him
Oh, Ed shot him in the grave or when he was running away?
when he was running away.
Right. Okay, he got out of the trunk. That's right.
Yeah,
He got out of the trunk and he ran away, but Ed shot him.
Ed shot him,
And
he got him in
stumbles
that,
in with Kat, and Kat brings him to Bruce and Alfred, and they feed him and everything.
Kat and Bruce are together,
Right.
right?
Kat and Bruce have been together for a while, but doesn't he kind of end it with her in this episode?
Yeah, so Kat and Bruce are together at Kat's place, and Gordon stumbles in. Then they go back to the Wayne estate, and then Bruce finally realizes that, oh, I need to continue my dad's work. blah blah blah. Bye, Cat.
And trying to find my killer. Or he already did that a couple episodes ago, but
yeah, he's now because Lucius
take
has
care
fixed
of the manor.
Lucius has fixed the computer.
Oh right.
Finally.
I know it only took how 10 episodes.
Yeah, it took a freaking long time, but that's finally fixed, and he can get back to doing what he was doing with Wayne Enterprises.
Right. Well, and then Kat spills the beans to the captain that she's seen Gordon.
Yeah,
and also behind the scenes we have Gordon's ex fiance is getting rehabilitated.
Has woken up. And,
right.
Has been rehabbed and has been let go.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. There's a lot of
going on in this episode.
Yeah, well, and then you got Ed got captured by the cops after Gordon took off.
So Kat went to the cops and
he goes to meet him again.
Yeah, I know where Gordon is. Blah blah blah. Ed goes to the grave where, what's her name is buried.
Right. Oh, that's right. Because Gordon found out that he figured out that he killed that one girl.
Yeah. And so.
Oh, man. Then we get the dinner scene.
Yeah, the dinner scene. This, oh my so God. Creepy. And, because he's obviously back to the Penguin persona.
Yeah, but she doesn't know, and he prepared some meal for her, and she's like,
she wanted a roast.
Right. Where's my
where are my kids?
Where's my kids? And he's like, oh, they'll be here, and she's eating it, and she doesn't like this, and he's like, well, try this one, and she's eating her kids.
Yeah, like, and that was oh my God. So
I was like,
I did
no
not
way,
see it
he's
coming.
feeding them to her. Oh.
I did not see that coming at all. That was freaking
that was
brilliant.
Pretty dark. Pretty dark.
Yeah, very dark, and I'm glad to see that the Penguin is back.
Yeah.
And out for blood.
Right. And oh man,
because he eventually stabs her in the neck.
Oh, he kills her too. Yeah, they're done. And then that's where he gets the manor, and that's where he gets all the money. And this is like his new, like the Phoenix is risen. You know, he is the Penguin again, and he has the power now to be the Penguin he wants to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like this is his true origin right here, not just he walks on a weird leg and he was Fish Mooney's bitch, but I mean like this is his origin. Like this is the start of the Penguin that we see like fighting Batman and stuff like that. At least I think so. But then we get Commissioner meeting up with the Captain again, and them kind of, being buddy, and him taking up that that duty to find the Wayne's killer.
Yeah.
It's
who actually hired the hitman.
Right. The hitman that ended up killing himself in a couple episodes back.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that, the Captain is being manipulated too, but I mean, I guess he's going along with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah. And then we got
Barbara
Bruce
shows up to Gordon's place at the end.
Right, yeah. Bruce tells off Kat, and then Barbara, surprise, I'm in your life again, Gordon.
Hi. Lee's gone, Barbara's back.
Right. Oh, I like Lee so much. It's so bad. It must have been a long time that he was in prison, because she really didn't wait up for him too long.
No.
It must have been a few months, at least like 6 or 7 months. That we really, really passed time a lot in that episode. Next we have Lucifer.
Yeah.
And it's just the one episode, correct?
Just the one, yeah. Saint Lucifer.
Wild episode. A lot of stuff going on here with Amenadel and Maze. And then we have the did the detective sleep with Lucifer? And then he's like, nah. That was pretty good opening. Like, totally makes it think like they did, but then he's like, I didn't. Then obviously they have another case. This is kind of how the show goes. And Lucifer is figuring some things out about himself with how he's reacting to, or how his body and physicality is reacting to being close to the detective. And the kind of the magic, if you will, of them two together, why this happens to him, why he can be vulnerable physically when he's with the detective is the thing. What is her power? Who is she in this show other than just this detective?
Yeah, like who is she? Like why is she so important?
Right. And why does it, literally bring his shield down when they're together, and then when they're not, and he tests it, he cuts himself and he's like, "Oh shit, it's you. It's not me. It's I'm still powerful when I get shot or when I get hurt."
Yeah, and it's when she's around him.
Right.
It's not she's around him.
It's not that she is does like it. His what was that mutant in X-Men?
Oh, like taking powers.
Yeah, he nullified powers when he was around the mutants. Leech,
right?
She's kind of like Leech in that way to him, and it's crazy. So apparently, in this case, we had this rich woman and her husband, and basically she killed this guy that was in love with her husband, even though she knew he was gay and this and that. And I mean, literally, these cases kind of don't mean shit in Lucifer. It's mostly this other stuff behind the scenes that kind of all this stuff brings out. But
yeah, exactly.
What was up with the detective's ex and this other guy? Now he was paid by Amenadel. He said that he would get into heaven if he killed Lucifer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the detectives, I can't remember the guy's name, but he wasn't going to let this guy kill Lucifer, and Lucifer ended up getting shot, but he was okay. And that's when he figures, maybe I'm not invulnerable, or maybe I'm not vulnerable. And he finds out his secret with the detective, that she makes him vulnerable. And he ends up meeting up with the guy. And he says, "I'll give you an ultimatum." He's like, "You're still going to go to hell. If you kill me, you're a murderer. You're still going to go to hell."
Yeah, and guess what? I'll be there waiting.
He can keep you out of hell, especially if you've already been there. But he's like, "Let me give you this if you don't kill me, and it's your token one-way ticket."
One-way ticket out of there.
Right, one-way ticket to heaven, basically, or out of hell.
Well, it's out
basically.
of hell.
Right, not to heaven, but out of hell. And I thought that was pretty cool, because I don't think it's going to work either way, because he's the devil and he tricks people.
Yeah, exactly.
But he totally gave this guy this weird, like, magic hope that everything will be okay, and I don't have to kill this guy that he believes is the devil too, because he believes he's the devil. He's been talking to an angel, and he believes that, and it's just very interesting revelation. Pardon the pun. But I dug this episode. It keeps staying steady for me, and Lucifer's charming. He's great as the character. And I like how the relationship with the therapist has moved on as well.
Yeah.
Even though they're still kind of seeing each other in that, professional way, but it's good. It's some good storytelling with this show. Alongside all this crazy, scripted sort of detective stuff going on, and all the stories underlined underneath all this other stuff. So Lucifer is still Lucifer. He has all his powers. It's just when he's with the detective, he's very vulnerable. And it's a good weakness to have for such a powerful character. And I think it's kind of cool that we figured it out this far in. I mean, 11 episodes in, and now we're like, that's why he's getting hurt. But he also likes that vulnerability and that feeling of being vulnerable with her. It's kind of a rush for him, and I think that's what makes the character cool, because he's so risky. and it makes for good TV. And I love the relationship with Maze, even though he knows she turned her back on him, but she's still kind of at the bottom of the totem pole, trying to move her way back up to where she was.
Although
under Lucifer.
she's at the end of the episode, she says that he is now his mole,
right?
With him, with his brother.
Yeah, and a lot of back and forth with Maze being a demon she is, getting information from Lucifer to the angel, and now back and forth. She's like the double agent.
Yeah.
Lucifer's double agent now, which is kind of cool. And that's pretty much the episode. We learned some things about them, and a little bit of the secrets that we find with Lucifer is apparent now, which is really cool. Moving on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about this one with the seer, basically.
Yeah, so this guy that they find, that Hydra has found, is basically he touches you, and from what I understand, you see your death.
Right. Oh, is that only it, or do you see other stuff? You see your death, or do you just see future events?
You see the future, but you also see how you die. Like
when Sky or Daisy, when she doesn't see her death, does she? Or does she, and then they end up they practice to alter it.
And even though they practice to alter it, nothing changes, because she still ends up on the rooftop with Gideon.
Yeah, but she's not dead.
I know, but she also didn't see the seer dude come and touch Malik.
Right.
So the
seer is the changer as well.
Right, so that changed things.
Right.
Right? Otherwise, she was dead.
Okay, so maybe he does show your death as well as, the future events that lead up.
I think it's the future events that lead up to your death.
And others as well, because she saw a lot of people die.
Yes.
Okay, well, he was cool.
Your death.
Very cool, like Inhuman that we got we got to see. We got
very very short, because he's no longer with us.
Right. Yeah. They kick him out there pretty quick, but he's a little bit too powerful to be walking around all the time, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Or be used by the good guys or bad guys.
For sure.
We also get Malik and Hive meeting together in his full powered form, which is awesome. We get to see his little squid. Well, we don't really get to see his squid face, but we get to see he's very squid-like.
Yeah, the back of his head, at least.
And that was interesting to see. And he's talking to him. He's like, about power and this and that. He's like, you already have all the money you need. What kind of power do you need? And he wants physical power. He wants powers. And it's interesting that their relationship, because you can totally see Malik is absolutely scared.
He's scared shitless.
But Hive is there for one thing only, and we still kind of don't know what that is.
Yeah, we're not quite sure.
He's using Malik and his power and his money and his resources to do and get close to where he needs to go, which is very cool.
Yeah. And we get to see in this last episode, we get to see a lot of Malik's backstory.
Right. Well, in the next episode, yeah.
Well, we don't. Yeah. So that, because we don't see Hive's squid head until this last episode too.
Oh well, that's true. Okay, but yeah. So with the whole time future seeing sort of guy, Sky touches him, and she realizes people are gonna die, so they end up not reliving her vision, but she kind of remembers her vision very well, and they're like, no, we have to fight this way, and we have to do this, and they train for the future to come, basically, which is kind of cool. I did like that.
Yeah,
and we also got what's his face coming back, Alash,
Right. Yes.
but not as Lash. And we find out he's got a weird inhuman power. I mean, because Lash is not Lash unless he changes into Lash.
Right, but he's becoming to the point where it's going to be the last time he changes.
Right, and he will
So he'll
always
be
be
stuck
Lash. He
as
won't
Lash.
be. I can't remember the guy's name now.
Andrew.
Right. And I like this because, I mean, in the comics, Lash is just Lash. I mean, and he was a very recent character, very new character within the last 2 or 3 years. But he's a cool character, and Lash is just he's just the power, and he's just Lash, and he's just very powerful and human. Interesting, they brought him in. Very cool that they're kind of breaking that rule of there's got to be a human face to the Inhuman. Hopefully Lash will always be Lash, and they can't change him back because he's kind of a cool character.
They might be able to control him after this, though. You never know.
Right, with what they're doing. So they end up saving the future. A couple guys do die that are predicted to die, but everyone else is.
And that's why I think what was happening was inevitable.
Right. Well, and then also the weird paradox thing, with I guess we should hold hands now with Fitz and Simmons,
right?
Because she said that they hold hands, and or how does she see that vision that they held hands?
Yes, she does.
Right, and she tells them, and then they're like, "But was it because that she told them, or the whole?"
And this
time
is where seeing the future and time travel goes.
Right. Was it their choice, or was it Daisy's choice that made them? Or made them hold hands.
Exactly. So I mean, it's all.
It doesn't matter, relative, I guess.
So the only thing that was changed was this guy that changed,
right.
That saved Daisy by touching Malik, showing Malik how he was going to die.
Right. And Malik found out some things. He's kind of kept him tight-lipped until this next episode, and he goes back to his home and sees his daughter, and we see a lot of flashback with him and his brother.
Yeah.
And then we have, Hive kind of comes in and he's like, hey, show me around your house.
Yeah. And he's invited the entire committee of Hydra.
Right. The whole new Hydra group that has kind of formed, and they've been talking back and forth. And is this where they flash back and they find that one German guy they end up talking to, who's that big a Hydra scientist sort of guy.
Yeah, Whitehall.
They find him. Yeah, Whitehall. They find him in prison, and
this is after their dad dies.
Right. They're trying to get information from him.
Yeah,
is that right?
Well, Whitehall wants them to carry on their dad's legacy in Hydra.
Right.
So that's what that's all about. And they eventually go back, and there's this whole ritual that you throw a stone into this river or lake or whatever. So
right. Well, and then you find out he kind of double crosses his brother.
Yeah, or he gets double crossed, really.
Oh yeah, and then then we get some weird Hive, channeling his brother kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I would assume that in that way, because Hive takes on certain bodies.
Right.
So eventually, at one point, he took over his brother's body.
Right. And do you suspect, this is what I thought, do you suspect that that Hive was on Earth and then was sent to that planet?
Absolutely.
So, and do you think that Hive was on his brother and then sent to that planet?
Maybe. Or maybe his brother was sent to that planet
and Hive attached to him that way.
Yeah.
He kind of sacrificed his brother to try and go to this other world, and he got stuck, and then Hive was on him.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
I'm sure we'll find out.
There's got to be some kind of connection between Hive and his brother, other than what we've seen already.
Yeah.
And then also we have Daisy and I can never remember his name either. but they go to see this Australian guy who's got some information about some Inhuman stuff.
Oh, right, that. So the guy who wants to be the Inhuman,
Right. He's like, give me the stone. And they're like,
but
we can change you.
he got kicked
And
out, and
right. Yeah, they didn't. And then after that, that's what we see the whole meeting with everybody. And
Lincoln is his name.
right. Lincoln. And they kind of trick him. They trick the Australian guy. Because the damn crystal could kill him,
Yeah.
or is that the crystal that wouldn't kill anybody?
No, that's like if he had touched it, he would have died.
It would have killed him if he didn't have any Inhuman blood or
Right.
genes.
Yep.
So he's really risking his life, and they're like, you know what? Nope, we got what we needed. You're not getting to change.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to see how that played out, but
Yeah.
cool at the same time.
And then we get that fight with what's his name? Gavin, or what his name is? What's his name again? The Asian guy. He fights May.
Oh, yes, Mr. Gaira.
Yeah, Gaira. That's right, Gaira, and he ends up, knocking out Agent Coulson, and then him and May just duke it out, and it was a great fight.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best fights of the week. And they end up knocking him out, but he wakes up and escapes again. God, that guy, he's always getting out of trouble.
Yeah.
And then we also have another double cross on Malik's hands, and he thinks he's gonna, get killed by Hive, but Hive's like, "No, I need you," and he's like, "You need to know what sacrifice is, and this and that."
Yeah,
and
kills
he ends
his
up
daughter.
killing his daughter. I was like, "Whoa!"
I did not see that coming at all.
I thought Malik was toast, and then I was like, "Oh my god, they really killed him off."
Especially when he says, all I need is one Malik."
Right. And you're like, "Wait, what?" And it was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna kill her." And when he kissed her, I was like, "Oh no way, he's gonna take her side." And then she started dying. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that was awesome.
A good little twist with that. And because you're standing there, you're sitting there watching the show, and you see Hive's hand on his daughter, and she's crying like she knows Hive's going to kill her father. And then they just flip on the audience right there, and you're like, whoa, they totally changed. I really thought that was a good twist. It really had me going for a second. Then we get the whole story with Lincoln and the car crash and the secret that he had with like his ex, and more mushy stuff there with him and Daisy. And then we get Mr. Gaira trying to escape, which he does, and totally takes out Agent Coulson here. And he tries to.
He basically tries to crash the plane.
Right, but he doesn't. He totally keeps it up, and he lets him land.
Yeah.
And then they end up taking off, and he's gone. But you get Malik, licking his wounds and grieving his daughter, and it's back to square one, or not square one, but back to work in the bigger picture with him and Hive, which is just getting darker and darker. I'm interested to see how things go with them too, and if Malik will turn on him, or if he'll suck it up and be his usher into this new world that he's trying to bring about with the Inhumans and all that stuff. It's just crazy. It's really crazy stuff going on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And apparently there's going to be some cool Civil War stuff, or at least a Civil War tie-in episode.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. And last show here, we have Supergirl. Go ahead and start us off here with Supergirl.
Well, Supergirl, we ended last episode with everybody being taken over by something.
Right, the crossover.
And then we figure out that this myriad thing is taking over the brains of every human in National City. except for Cat Grant, apparently, because Supergirl shows up to Catco and everybody's typing away on their little keyboards.
Right. Well, first they have Maxima, which is an awesome surprise addition to the show. Very old classic villain of Superman and Supergirl, and she's trying to kick Supergirl's ass.
Right. Yeah. And
that was a great little fight.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
and then puts her back in jail.
So. Right. Yeah. It was like she's out, and then he puts her right back in jail. But really cool fight. Great actress to play Maxima. She looked huge. And so we get a good classic superhero fighting here in the beginning, right off the bat. And Myriad is still doing their thing. Then we get Supergirl's sister, Katie, going undercover and bringing this kid. Who is this kid again? I don't know why she's taking this kid around. Or was she not taking this kid? Is she pretending to be with this kid?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what was going on there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just don't know where the kid came from. Unless he was just some kid she grabbed off the street, which is, I don't know, it just seems very weird, or he was placed with. Anyway,
no, I mean,
she's pretending
she's not,
be on the run.
She's not with, the kid is Jan.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're totally right. The kid's John Jones.
Yeah.
That's right. He changed himself into a little kid. What am I thinking? I totally forgot the surprise.
Yeah, it was so mom and the kid. Like it's Jan. It's come on now. It's Martian Manhunter.
I'm like, where'd the kid come from? So Martian Manhunter turns into this little blonde kid, and they pretend to be, mom and son, and they're on the run to try and go back home. To get away from all this, the Kryptonians and National City and all this stuff, because basically National City is taken over and it's going to spread here pretty soon.
Well, they're on their way to find Mr. Danvers.
Right.
That's their mission at the moment, is to find.
They don't. They end up meeting up with her mom.
Right, because they're there to stock up on goods and then keep going, but then they find out what's going on in National City and stay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, that's right. They kind of take up, they kind of hole up there at the house.
Yeah.
While Myriad is doing their thing, because, even the mother thinks that he's dead, right?
Yeah. Everybody thought he was dead, but apparently he's still alive.
And how remind me again how they found out he's still alive?
Oh, I forget. It was a few episodes ago, but I forget.
Who told them that?
I don't.
Was it? I wasn't.
I have to look back and find it.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember who gave that information out.
But yeah, no, Mr. Dean Cain is still alive in the Superman universe.
Yeah, and speaking of Superman, I mean, he's in this episode,
for like a second, and then he gets taken over by Myriad, which is...
Yeah, he comes in to try and save the day, and they're like, oh, whoops, he's taken over by the disease or whatever it is.
Which is a weird thing to, like, sure, because he grew up on Earth. Is that really how...
I suppose, like, he's not as powered as Kara is.
Why? Because she grew up. She had 12 years or whatever on Krypton.
Some kind of immunity or something, because she has more time on Krypton than he ever did. I don't know.
It was strange.
It's probably just a radiation thing, I think. And like she has more radiation,
maybe,
from Krypton built inside her. I mean, because honestly, in this episode, when she gets shot with a kryptonite bullet, Superman would be like dying dead, but she's pretty strong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, she rips it out of her. She rips the kryptonite bullet out of her chest or out of her shoulder, and she's like flicks it away. And like, I mean, in every movie or anything kryptonite kind of gets close to Clark, except for Superman Returns when he's holding the damn kryptonite city above him. But like, it's just like he's always, really, really, really affected by kryptonite. But she kind of. She kind of takes like a champ.
She's a little stronger than Superman. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I mean, in certain ways, with if if you want to go with what we were saying earlier, that she has more Kryptonian radiation or whatever,
Yeah, maybe.
or like her body has grown stronger because she lived on Krypton longer than Clark did, then I think you can say that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think just because of his experience and stuff, he will always be stronger than Kara. But then she gets that big catch-22 there where she has to save those three people, that one girl, and then.
Well, you knew who she was going to save.
Well, yeah, she saves her friend Win and then Jimmy over this, can't save the girl,
No.
and she gets smushed on the pavement, and that was pretty dark.
Yeah, it was a little dark for this, but it made sense.
And yeah, Jean reveals himself to Kara's mom, which was kind of cool.
And all she had was questions.
Yeah, all these questions about the science and how he changes, and I thought that was pretty. His anatomy and all that stuff.
So
that was
cool.
Pretty good.
It's like, how do you do it? What do you mean? And they're like, oh, what? Oh,
well, and then also we have Nan, who has ended up bringing back what's her face, Brainiac, whatever her face is.
We're calling her Indigo, I believe.
Yes, Indigo. That's correct. Brainiac 8, Indigo. She's back, and I guess part of the brains of the operation now.
Yeah, she's kind of taken over and using her feminine business to kind of sway Nan in a specific direction.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Katie, her mom and Jean are like, "Don't go back to National City. Don't go try and save Kara." But she's like, "I'm going to." She's like, "This is what she does."
Alex and
she kind of
Jan head back, and
she takes off and to try and go save them.
And this is where we get
John. Oh man, great fight between John and Indigo.
Yeah, and he's trying to keep Alex mind clear.
Oh, Alex. I don't know why I keep calling her Katie.
She's trying to keep Alex's mind clear of all the myriad stuff.
Right, yeah. He's kind of using his telepathy to keep out the myriad, but it's really straining him, and it kind of weakens him a bit.
Exactly.
And then
So
Indigo stabs him good, like Terminator 2 style.
Yeah, it gets him real good, and he kind of collapses and is looking like he's dying at this point.
Right. Yeah, he's not handling the myriad for one, or him getting speared.
Yeah.
At all. So then we got Alex is just totally susceptible to myriad now. Jean is dying or on the ground, and then meanwhile we have what's his face, Max Lord, who has this like dirty bomb that could like take out a whole bunch of people, but also the Kryptonians.
Yeah.
And he's came up with this idea at the best solution right now, but Kara's not having it. There's always hope and all this stuff, and there's always another solution that's better that can keep everyone alive. And then at the end, they're ready to use it, but they're going to use this like old technology, this old radio stuff to kind of scramble their brains. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Trying to scramble the signal.
Yeah.
And that's not like digital or out in the cloud or whatever. So they're trying to use this old technology that they kind of, they found to do a better solution than throwing a bomb in the city.
Yeah, and this is where they're hoping that they're not found out by Non and Indigo, so that they can keep doing what they're doing.
Right.
All of a sudden, Alex shows up.
Yeah, Alex shows up to kind of take it down, and Kara's out there to be like, "No, I don't want to fight you." But one of the coolest things is like Alex has that friggin' kryptonite power suit and that sword, and you're just like, "Oh." And then at the end they race at each other like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
And that's how it ends. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
So
they both race at each other from one end of the screen, and you're just like, oh my god, the fight is on. It's like sister versus sister, mind controlled or not,
yep.
and it's Kryptonite versus Kryptonian. It's just like, that's going to be a cool fight. And then that's what's the season finale is on tonight, and that's their fight tonight, right?
Yeah, season finale
Try and,
tonight. We
yeah,
find
try and
out.
stop Non and Myriad.
Yeah, we find out how quickly the Mr. Max Lord can work. Because I'm assuming that's the only way this fight ends.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be intense. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, okay. Well, those are the shows this week. You want to dive into the Daredevil stuff? Do we have
Uh,
time for that?
we can do a little bit of it. Yeah, I don't know. Let's do a couple episodes at least.
Okay. Well, we got episode 1 here of season 2. Um, Pretty much starts out Daredevil's Daredevil,
Yeah, Daredevil is Daredevil doing his thing.
and he's doing his thing and hopping on water towers and saving cops from bad guys.
Yeah.
Um, it was pretty cool stuff. Knocking out that dude in the church. And we get Daredevil, and the cool title sequence is the same. I'm glad they kept it the same and didn't change it.
Yeah. I think you can't change that title sequence. That title sequence is too badass.
Yeah, it's it's so good. I just love like humming along to it.
Yeah.
We get a lot of Foggy as well, and him knowing about Matt and him kind of like talking about, I don't want to know about the stuff you do.
right.
But he's still there for him as like his best bud. But he's like, I don't condone it or love it, but I love you as your buddy, as my buddy, kind of thing, And
And we see we head to an Irish pub
right.
and they get fucking slaughtered. Just fucking slaughtered. Oh, the bloodbath. It was wild. That was such a good firefight.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, first we get the we get that exchange with the all the business they're getting, and they're not really getting paid for it at Nelson and Murdoch. Then we get the Irish pub, the Irish thing, and this whole gang's getting together, and they're like, you know what? We have the city now. There's no more of these guys and that guy's Yakuza and this, and the Russians are out. We're gonna take back this town as this new gang, or not new gang, but
we're taking back
the new
ours.
big gang of Hell's Kitchen, and then they just get tore up by
so good.
presumably the Punisher.
Yeah.
And
We end up
one guy
fighting.
survives behind the counter, but everyone just gets shot up.
Yeah. This one guy survives and ends up finding Murdoch.
Right,
and Foggy.
he wants representation,
Yeah.
and he finds them at the bar, or Matt kind of sniffs them out a bit,
Yeah.
and they're all playing pool and being all fun, and Matt pretending to be blind and stuff is kind of funny.
Well, yeah, Matt,
Even though
Matt
pretending
not
to
know
really
how to,
be blind.
yeah, really be blind, not
Yeah.
knowing how to do things. Like he doesn't have this vision superpower.
Right. And he
Right.
meets up with the guy here, and he's like, you know what, don't mess up this bar. These are nice people, and blah blah blah. And he's like, no, I was trying to find you, and I need your help. And what is this guy's name again?
Oh,
Do we have a name for this guy?
Some Irish dude? Is that good?
Some Irish dude. Well, okay. So, what does he want from Matt again? Like I said, I haven't watched this again, but what does he need from Matt? He wants protection, or he wants
Grotto. Grotto is his name.
Okay, that's right, Grotto.
Grotto. He wants protection. Really, he wants to be in witness protection. Like he's ready.
Oh, right. He doesn't want. He wants to be out. He didn't like being with those guys.
Well, I mean, it's not just that he doesn't like being with those guys, but they're all
He
dead.
killed.
Like he's ready to sing the highest, the longest song you've ever heard. Name so many names.
Right.
So
Well, and then also, I mean, he knows someone's after him. We know it's the Punisher, but he knows someone's there. Or see, and then he gets shot,
yeah,
and he's hurt pretty bad, but he's not dead, right?
no, he
No, he gets thrown in the hospital, and he still wants to try and get his protection.
yeah.
Um,
And this is when the
and
Punisher comes.
oh, that's when we see that huge hole through the side of that guy. The detective's looking through.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All these guys are dead, and they're trying to pick the scene apart. And Matt's trying to get some information from the detective or the sergeant that ends up becoming sergeant detective, or detective sergeant, whatever. I think they call him Sergeant Detective, which just sounds like a superhero name.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So they're trying to find information on what happened here, and Grotto's in the hospital, and Karen's trying to get him to spill the beans, and trying to figure out what the hell happened. And the episode ends with, or it kind of ends, but we have Daredevil fighting these guys to get information out of them, and he ends up meeting what's the black guy's name? I can't remember his name. The guy from the first season. Remember the black guy? He ends up breaking his hand here in the end of this episode to get information about
that guy. Oh.
Well, it starts with a W. It's like Weevil or anyway,
Turk Barrett.
Turk. That's right. I don't know why I thought it was a W.
Yeah, the gun.
Anyway,
the gun
he
dude.
beats his ass to get information about who hit the Irish guys, but he doesn't know because he was like the gun supplier. Like, who supplied these guns? And then we got Foggy going to the Dogs of Hell to try and get information.
Yeah, and he's lucky to be out of there with his life. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah. He's like, it's crazy. He goes in there to talk to the main dude, and Foggy's in there trying to get information for who, or is he trying to warn him that someone's after him?
No, he's trying to talk to one of his buddies that he went to high school with.
Oh, that's right.
And but he's dead.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, like,
and he's like, let me just leave, and
yeah. That's why he was lucky to get out of there with his life.
Right, and then at the end here, we have the meat hooks, and the Daredevil finds the guy on the meat hook still alive, and Foggy
intense,
ends up getting information from the one guy that wasn't really dead.
Well, it was just one of the guys in the crew.
Right, and he kind of tells him stuff, say, hey, he can help you if you help me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Hook guy's spilling the beans on the Punisher. Basically,
it's just one.
It's just one guy. It's not an army.
It's just one man.
And then you see the Punisher go through the hospital, and he's ready to kill Grotto.
Yeah,
and then Grotto and Karen get out of there, and he's running in the scrubs, and they're trying to get out of there, and that's when we get Daredevil kneeing Punisher in the face with that sniper rifle. And they're fighting pretty good.
Yeah,
why is my computer doing that?
So I mean, I'm just so excited about Daredevil right now. It's so awesome. Yeah. Why don't we just do that one episode and we'll do the next one next time?
I think that's good. This ended quite well. They are just beating each other's ass on the roof.
Yeah,
I really need to finish the last half of this episode and watch these over again.
Yeah,
but basically, Punisher kind of walks out, and then Daredevil catches up to him, and Punisher shoots Daredevil in the face.
In the face. Yeah, right.
And it ends. You're like, what? But we know Daredevil's in the whole rest of the season.
Wow.
But
be a weird ending. First episode, Daredevil's dead.
I guess it's Punisher's show now.
Yeah.
So that was Daredevil's first episode. Really quick and really fun and easy to follow there. Do you want to do the picks of the week and then wrap it up?
Sure.
Or do you have?
I don't. You know what? I don't think I've got. I didn't have a chance to write them down.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I have mine real quick here if you want to just
Well,
go
you
with me.
you tell me what yours are, and we'll.
Okay, well, for the best fight, I mean, not counting Daredevil because that's the Netflix and not weekly show, but not counting Daredevil, the best fight I have was the Green Arrow in the prison when they're fighting everyone,
Yeah,
the whole
that
gang's
was an
fighting,
epic fight for sure.
and also the Mr. Guerra versus May fight was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for most heroic characters, Ray Palmer, the cowboy and doing
yeah.
that stuff. I thought that was great. Who would you say is most heroic for you in this week
You know what?
or this amp?
That's it's either him or the professor.
Oh, you know what? I was gonna say that too because the professor saved that kid, and they were both doing pretty well in that episode, being good heroes, even though they're murderers at the end
Yeah,
with
that
the
was a little
the
much.
hunters. And then I think the best villain is gonna be I think just based on his smarts. I think Anon and the virus. I mean, having that planned out and all ready to go. Maybe not in like the fighting. Like I really like the fight with Indigo, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
say she was a great villain in this episode.
yeah.
Um, and there wasn't really a main villain in the Legends episodes either. I mean, we really didn't see too much. Uh, I don't know. I guess you could say the Penguin if you really want to go dark.
Yeah, I suppose
he
that was
gets in
kind of
there pretty
crazy.
bad with feeding that
Oh,
woman
that
her
was
kids. That was
holy
pretty messed
shit.
up. And biggest feel is going to be Black Canary's death, I think.
Oh God, yeah.
Um, Either that or the whole like Andy, turn, which was really sad. But it was just like, really? That was more like,
That was
no.
more of a what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I have in my what the fuck moment. Coolest powers, I think, is going to be. Oh man, I didn't even write this one down. Um, I think it might have to be either Martian Manhunter or
Yeah,
Indigo.
I'd go with the guy from Shield, the that Inhuman that tells you when you're gonna
Yeah, that
die.
was great. I totally forgot about that almost. Yeah,
Yeah.
the future teller, that was pretty cool. The most what the fuck moment was definitely Diggle's brother, but then the
Yeah.
cliffhanger was definitely the fight between Kryptonite Power Suit
Oh
Alex
yes.
against Supergirl.
That's
Um,
badass. That's gonna be great. I can't wait to watch that.
yeah, that's gonna be good tonight. Strongest show I think is Gotham this week,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
last week. It was just so good, especially with the Penguin stuff. And then the Easter eggs was the power suit. Maxima was cool to see, and I guess the Superman quote unquote appearance that he had. I guess.
The slight. I was going to say, no way, we're actually going to see Superman. Oh no, we're not.
Yeah, they say, oh no, he's mind controlled. Sorry.
Whoopsie.
I thought that was pretty cool. I love the idea. I was so happy that they put Maxima in. I thought that was really cool. She was a cool little addition to that episode, and a good fight in the beginning there. That kind of that kind of does it for the picks of the week this week.
Just want to one thing I will say that Google Plus, or not
Oh
Google Plus,
yes.
but I get Google Play, has launched its podcasts now, so you can find us in the Google Play Store, and I'll put the links on the website.
Oh right, and also we're on Tumblr now too at Super Poop Tube
yes.
Dudes on Tumblr. So the same name goes for Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. We're
Nice.
Super Boob Tube Dudes, which is cool. So we're starting up with that as well. Mostly just reposting lots of cool stuff, TV stuff, GIFs, art, comic stuff, lots of cool stuff like that.
Stuff everybody loves.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the Super Boob Tube Dudes podcast. I'm Dante Serecchia,
And I'm Tyler Hoskin.
and keep on tubing, guys. I thought that was great.